My name is Sarah Conn. I'm the director and producer of Trophy. Trophy is an art installation and performance that centers around turning points, moments of change in people's lives when life takes you in unimagined directions. Inside each of our tents is a person from the community we're in sharing a true story of a moment of change in their lives. And for us, the idea of sharing stories is incredibly important. A lot of the people that are sharing their stories are people who don't normally have the chance to share their stories in a really public way, and they're sharing them with people who also don't normally get to hear those kinds of stories. There is a lack of awareness for sure for people in terms of issues that may not directly impact them, and sharing personal stories is an incredible way to address that, especially when you're hearing firsthand from someone talking about an issue that you might have heard about in the news or you might have read about, but you can actually hear someone a few feet in front of you talking about their really personal lived experiences about that. And it just humanizes something that might be an issue that you might not have actually been able to understand before. Empathy is really interesting, especially when it comes to people who are very different from us. A lot of the stories that we heard today are, you may hear them and you might not be able to see yourself in those stories. And there's something really interesting as an empathetic person to be able to think, why don't I see myself in this story? What about my lived experience means that I am not the same as you? So empathy has a role both in difference and in similarities. It's also really important to just have a diversity of experiences and stories around the table. One of the things the Trophy encourages is that all of these experiences have a place, and I think that's also really important to remember as a business, that you need to have diversity of experiences and stories both around your organization and in the people you're working to represent. I think it's incredibly important for businesses to bring their leaders to events like this so that leaders can be reminded of different stories, different lived experiences, different lifestyles. Sometimes we get so much into our bubbles and so much into our personal lives that we forget that there are people who are living very different lives from ourselves. We see them as statistics, or we see them as headlines, and events like this reminds us that they're not. They're human beings who deserve a place in our society and in our businesses just as much as anyone else.